I can update the chat, so I'm seeing the latest status. Hello, everybody. How you doing? I believe we're live now. Thank you for joining us for our second installment of Explorer demonstration today, March 31st, Tuesday. It's 1 p.m. Halifax, Nova Scotia time. Thank you for joining us. In the chat comment page or in the live chat, my colleague Hamza is going to be able to answer any of your questions you have. So feel free to ask any questions, any clarifications you need. Feel free to ask them there. Don't think about it as a chat page. Think about it as a conversation, an ongoing conversation. So feel free to ask any questions anytime at all. We have someone always just dedicated to monitoring your questions. Thank you. Okay, second installment today. Just give you a quick overview about Modest3, and then a little bit over Explorer product, and then we'll go from there. So first of all, Modest3, we're a digital transformation specialist. We work with clients, OEMs, government entities, schools, healthcare providers to digitize their training. Take it from original pen and paper to leveraging all the different immersive technologies, whether it's virtual reality, augmented reality, 360 video recordings and renderings, whatever the case may be. Of course, then we leverage our rapid development and rapid deployment software, Xplorer and Modest3D Suite, to be able to provide a total reduction in development time. We're talking up to 60 or 80% reduction in development time. We're talking hours, not weeks, to develop a presentation. So with that being said, we'll just jump right in. So this presentation is going to be broken, or this webinar is going to be broken up to a few stages. Stage one, I'm going to show you an executed file or a published lesson that was created in Explorer. And then we're going to jump back to show you the portal and how it manages all the different content. And then we will get into Explorer, the actual editing ability to be able to create a lesson or a presentation on the fly. We'll create a few slides and a few interactions to kind of give you a feel of how fast it is to develop in it. And then towards the end of the presentation, any guests that are currently logged on, please say hello, introduce yourself. You don't have to. Use alias name if you have to. It's online. And feel free to join us towards the end of the presentation, another 30 or 40 minutes. We'll run a live presentation where we can invite you to join us inside this environment, not just see it on the screen. I want you to actually join us from your app, from your mobile device, PC, whatever the case may be. Now again, it's important to know that Explorer publishes and accepts platform agnostic. So doesn't matter if you have a PC, mobile device, a tablet, Android, or iOS. It doesn't matter. Just log on. In the room, in the chat, you should see the page where you can go to download our app. Feel free to go download and register so you can join us towards the end of the project or the presentation. And from there, let's just jump right into it. Okay, so first, this is Explorer UI. Very simple to use, very quick. So you create a room. This is where you would initiate the presentation. Join room is where if someone already made a presentation and they invited you, the invitation should show up here or notification for that. So right now, I'll just create a quick single player. And jump into a trade show. And these are the 3 lessons that are built under one project file. So okay, something here real quickly to just point out. So you notice right here it says check for VR. The system is smart enough that if you have a virtual reality headset connected to your PC and your PC is a VR capable PC, then by checking this, it will automatically detect that and enable VR if you toggle it. If not, you will just run the standard native PC build or a PC version of it. Okay, so welcome to Modest3D Trade Show. So in here, of course, to interact with the environment, I simply hold the right-click button on my mouse and move around the environment. It's going to be able to rotate. If you want to move forward, back, left, and right, then simply use WASD keys on your keyboard to move front, back, left, and right. And in combination with the rotation, you can move around the entire environment by just simply flying around. I always recommend to people when you first get in this environment is fly around a little bit, get comfortable with the controls so you're not feeling like a fish out of water. Now in here, quickly, On the left hand side, you will see that I have a slide menu. Now when there is actual slides, you will see it become collapsible. On the right hand side, I have my tool ribbon, where I have built-in tools to help the presenter highlight my features further. In the middle here, you'll see that I have some documents already enabled. So I'll just hit the eye icon to make them visible. In this case here, we have a document asking questions. Now this could be full of different questions, basic questions that if, think about it this way, you're inside a trade show, you're manning the booth, and someone walked up to you. There's always frequently asked questions that usually, the formalities. Well, this sheet can help you navigate those quickly, so you're not left, not on the spot by yourself. Okay, and of course I can populate at any time videos. So the idea is this environment is meant to be a multiplayer or multi-user environment where users from every type of hardware that can just join in. So users that have PC, VR systems, mobile devices, tablets, augmented reality devices can just jump into this environment and interact together. And me as a presenter, I can present to everybody at once. Which takes us to our next feature, an image of a business card. So if this is a business event or a trade mission or a in general business meetings, and the idea is good to have these on hand. Now we're also enabling a new feature that was requested by our clients or by our users very recently, where they wanted the ability to handshake. And the handshake will initiate a private meeting. So if there's another user inside this booth, I simply walk up to them, say hello, initiate a handshake. If they accept it, this will make the conversation between us private, so not everybody else on the floor can hear us. So the really interesting thing about this is right now, of course, within one environment, I can interact with other environments. So I just simply fly up here to auditorium, and from the auditorium, I can click on the door to activate my second lesson, which will be the auditorium. So right now, we'll jump right into that. You'll see a loading screen, and if it works correctly, I'll see on the other side inside the auditorium for the presentation room. So there you go. So now we are inside a separate room, a separate scene. We just popped it from one to one, and we have not broken connectivity. So the idea is, if I have with me a team of people right now that I met with them in the trade show on the floor, we discussed briefly, we exchanged formalities. Now we want to talk about something private. Not only private, I also want to demonstrate and present to them specifically. So I handshake, I invite them, I bring them back to this private room, where now you'll notice that this menu is full with different slides built in. And to navigate them, just simply hit the right arrow, and that will change the presentation. At any moment, of course, I can move my head around, but the default position will position you to the point of interest. In this case here, it's the presentation and the images on the wall. Of course, we can enable video inside the same environment. And of course, video and audio. Now, before the audio gets too loud, it's good to see that here you also have X-ray functionality and 3D labels that we populated in the scene. Now in the creation process, we'll show you quickly how those get done and how fast. Of course, now you have your expansion view or exploded view. Now the good thing about this is this scene, to get this type of model, sometimes can be cumbersome and quite painful to put this together. So here we just put together for you a quick algorithm that will work within the model hierarchy to be able to separate and do this functionality for you. So you don't have to do it yourself. Again, we don't want trainers and instructors and sales teams to be able to waste too much time creating this visual effect. We want to do it for you quickly so you can go back to do what you do, whether it's educate or sell. Now, of course, in my menu, you'll see that I have a series of tools. Now, one of the tools is, of course, interact. Simply means I can interact with my environment, which is I'm already doing right now. It's default setting. Grab is exactly what the name says. Use the grab. There's also instructions here tell you small tooltips about what you're doing. So here, use the grab tool to select and then move object. So simply click on an object, drag it away, and you can quickly start moving things around, dismantling, assembly, disassembly type thing. Now, draw shape is exactly what the name says. Draw a shape. I can pick from the colors I want, and once I got a good color that I like, close that. Select an object of point of interest, and draw a bunch of arrows to say, hey, this thing does this thing does that. Of course, also, I have the ability to draw on my 3D models, so I'll click on my model, and then I can say, hey, you see this guy here? always be careful for this part because you need extra grease, or so on, whatever the case may be, right? Laser pointer is for when we have a lot of people inside the same environment, and the students will be able, or the guests will be able to at any moment click on an object, and me as the presenter, I will see it glow red, knowing that someone's asking about it. So now I can point my attention to the component that they're interacting with. Highlight, of course, is self-explanatory. Select on an object, we'll give it a permanent shade highlight, and of course I can change the remove the type of highlight it is by just simply clicking back. X-ray is self-explanatory. Again, click on any object after you select X-ray to make them X-rayable, so you can see internal pieces from the outside. Of course, color is a simple matter of just selecting an object, and any color they already have here pre-chosen, it will automatically change that color. So this is in case I have a, let's say, an engine, and I want to be able to distinguish between the cooling system and the heating system. Well, I can give all the hot parts a red color, all the parts that will be cold I can give it a blue color, and all the parts in between maybe give it a yellow or an orange. And the idea is I can separate systems quite fast, quite easily, without having to do a lot of the heavy lifting. And of course, after breaking the scene like this and separating it all, just to get it all back and going, simply switch to the slide, and it goes back to its original default setting. Okay, now I'll take you to our third scene. We'll take you with us to a walkthrough. So for, of course, today's climate, we all know how the world's been affected. And a lot of trade missions, a lot of trade events, trade shows are all being canceled and shut down, which is really putting a pressure on a lot of industries. So one of the functionalities here is you can do 360 walkthroughs by simply natively importing the 360 recording into Xplorer, which will be able to populate it for you inside an environment. Now the cool part about this is I can view this from my PC, I can view it from my tablets, from my mobile device, but the creation process is always the same. One creation methodology, but then it executes and it publishes to all the different platforms, whether it's PC, mobile device, Android, iOS, it doesn't matter. Just simply register, log on, download, register, download, and then log on. Okay, at this time, I'd like to remind you guys again, please register, because the next scene right now, I'm going to get into Editor to actually put some lessons together really quickly to show you the different functionalities within Explorer. But in another half hour or so, when we've done that part, I'll run a live lesson and invite you guys to the environment so you can experience it yourself. And of course, if you repeated the cycle, you would be at the trade show floor, met someone, brought them into your auditorium for private meetings, took them to your walkthrough of facility, and then now you can jump back to a trade show and repeat that process to meet other clients or other prospects, or go for other education tours. Okay, this is our portal tool. Now from here, of course, you'll see that you have your projects, my projects, shared projects. So simply forward my projects are projects that belong to me, that I created, or that have been shared with me and I downloaded and now they belong on my machine. Shared projects are all the projects that were created by my network of friends and groups and colleagues, and they shared a project with me. Now this can grow really fast. The beauty of this product is you create locally, but you share globally. And it's very easy to share and expand to pass these lessons and presentations around the world. It's all done in one centralized location, so you don't do any of the heavy lifting. So we'll just jump right now into the auditorium and we'll edit it. So this time we're going to get into the actual edit version of this lesson. So you'll see the slides that we just had inside with the different expand, x-rays, videos, and documents playing. Now we'll see the actual process of creating that type of presentation and how quick it can happen. So this right now is the existing presentation that we just experienced together, but now we're seeing it from the editing view or from the editing side of the process. So we'll jump right to the end here. We'll hit new slide. Let's call the start. And again, if you have any questions or any clarification on certain pieces that I'm going over, please feel free to ask in the chat and we'll get back to you. This will give you the ability to create a slide without losing the current position you're in. So notice how now I have one slide here, almost replica. So what we can do is, if this is a starting point, I know I'm going to transition from my start to my second. So in this case here, in the second one, I can grab a component, move it. I can grab another piece and x-ray it. And then maybe I can grab this component here and give it a 3D label. I'll change the font so it's easy to read for us all. So now if I go slide one, my first slide, you'll see that everything went back to its normal state. But if I click on my second slide, immediately you see the illusion of an animation, a 3D label popped up, and then a x-ray. Now the really interesting part is this, to create right now the same slide, but now for PC versus virtual reality, I go to my original slide. And when I select the slide, you'll notice that the properties change right here on the menu. But if I select the floor, then the properties change again. Well, the properties are they're intelligent. The part that I'm selecting will activate the properties pertaining to that. So if I select the slide, I'm only going to affect the functionality and the properties of the overall slide's ability and capability. But if I select a certain object, then I'm only going to interact with those direct properties. So that being said, now that I'm here, I can just simply go to my VR teleport, activate that, and now you will see a little halo in the ground right here. If I pull it up, there it is, the little blue halo. So now this blue halo becomes my teleported location. So simply going from PC to VR is just a matter of one toggle. If it's a PC lesson, then I will point the camera to the object of interest, and when I switch from slide to slide, that will be the default position. If it's a VR enabled presentation, then simply I will toggle my VR and then I will position the halo. So now when I'm in my VR environment, if I hit and hold my teleport button, it will give me that option to jump to. And when I jump to that option, it will activate that specific slide. Sorry about that. Rookie mistake. I apologize. So I'll repeat that process again for everybody that missed it. So let me just untoggle this guy here. So to create this presentation from VR to PC, what I would do right now is PC, I would simply just point the camera into the right direction. And that's as simple as that. Now when I switch from slide to slide, that would be the default position of the camera. So we're good there. Now, to create a VR presentation of the same exact environment, simply toggle the VR button right here, and you will see a little halo populate. Position that halo where you want it. So in this case here, I can maybe bring this over here. And now when I'm inside my VR presentation, if I hit the teleport button and I hold on to it, and as I scan the room, I will see these yellow markers on the floor. It will look like this halo right here. Now if I teleport to that location, it will activate this slide associated with it. So if I take now this slide here, I give it another teleport location, you will see that it populates in a different spot. This is by design, it's not a mistake, because the idea is you want different locations to identify different pieces. So for example, I can maybe put a teleport location in the front of the engine, and then this would explain something related to the front of the engine. I can also change the direction, so I can make sure. Notice right here, if I get a little closer, there it is. So you see that rotation marker. So simply this means is when I teleport to this location, not only will I teleport to that position, but also my body, my point of view, will point to that rotation that I picked. So in this case here, I positioned them right in front of the turbine, and I pointed to the general direction. So when they teleport here, this will be the point of focus. And the previous slide again, I can move it to the back of the engine because maybe that's my point of interest. And it's just a matter of that. Now I created two separate slides with two separate VR teleportation locations. Now, of course, I can create a new slide. I'll call this one X-ray. And in this case here, maybe I'm trying to highlight certain components inside. So all I'd have to do is select the objects that I want. And hit the X-ray. And now all the components are see-through, and of course I can change the type of, or the color of X-ray and the level of how see-through it is. So let's create a new slide, and this one we'll call Expand. And this really gets in now to the very powerful algorithm. So position myself in the right place first. So to create a expand or an explosion view of a certain component, sometimes it can be quite cumbersome and a lot of work is involved. But in this case here, simply go up to your mode selection. You'll notice that by default you're in free mode. Free mode just simply means I can navigate the environment. Animate mode, if I have an animation already built in the model, I can import it in, select what type of animation, how many times I want to play it, the speed of play, and then play the animation. But the one I want to focus on here is expand. So this is the expand tab, and simply all you have to do is grab the model that you want to expand and drop it inside the root. This is where good modeling practice is important. So scene hierarchy, I expand my scene hierarchy, I end up with interactive, passive, and background. So interactive, when we 3D model, we like to put our objects, our whole model scene into three categories. One being interactive, things that you're going to interact with in the 3D environment. Passive are things that you're going to interact with, like the floor. You're not really going to interact with it, but you're going to use it by teleporting onto it. So it's a passive background. And of course, background environment are things that you're not going to touch at all, and there's no reason to put them interactive because they'll just confuse the developer or the person trying to create this presentation. So now I go into my interactive, I expand that menu, I end up with CFM and my screens. I don't need the screens, I only want my engine. So I'll expand that, but then here I have an engine and my engine stand. I don't want to expand the stand, I only want the screen. And in fact, maybe the stand, I want to hide it, so let me just jump really quickly here and hide the stand. And now for my engine, I can jump into my mode, go my expand. Matter of simple of just holding Alt, clicking that, so I can grab it and all its root or nested children. To know if you did it correctly, you'll see it all turn highlighted. So if I just click on it, left click, nothing. Only I'm selecting the hierarchy group. But if I hold the Alt and then select it, you'll notice that it all highlights green, tells me that I selected every single component. Now it's just a matter of dragging and dropping that into the root. And by expanding my expansion model a little bit over here, my slider, I noticed I started getting this expansion algorithm started to work, but I didn't give me the desired effect, and we know this because all the 3D models are built differently, different position, different rotations, different pivot points, different scaling. There's so many things, so many variables when it comes to 3D modeling because, of course, all the different modelers, 3D artists, everybody has their own way. There is no real global standard to follow. So instead of trying to get everybody to standardize their modeling, we solve the problem by simply saying, hey, we'll offer you more options of the algorithm. So something will maybe expand from a pivot to center of model versus pivot to the parent of a pivot, center to, and so on and so on. So these will all give you different desired effects. So what I recommend is, after you nest the model that you want to expand, slide the slider a little bit up so visually you see a change, and then swap through until you get the desired effect. This way you're not doing anything, you're not trying to come up with a specific formula, just simply expand it till you get the right version that you like. Now I like this one here, seems to work fine. But because it's an engine, maybe I can do something a little bit different where if I have here my axes, I can isolate them by toggling. So simply, if I toggle off the Z, all the effects happen to the Z axis are cancelled. If I toggle off the Y, I cancel that. I toggle the X, then I cancel that, and it goes back to normal no matter how much I expand. But because this is a turbine, I know that with those models, usually the X axis is the best because you're expanding it on the lengthwise, which works really good for this model. If you had a model where maybe the breakup is vertical versus outside, you have to make these choices yourself and play along with it. So in this case here, I'm going to expand a little bit more to get the desired effect. So now my expand is right here. But now I can also grab this one, this component, and this component, jump into my menu, add a label, drag them all up at once, jump into my fonts, okay, to 100, and now I added 3 labels in the same time to 3 separate things. And of course I can go in, it's a matter of just changing text color to make those pop a little better. Or maybe I should have picked the color that was in the back of the flag. Just a moment. There you go. Now, of course, this does not stop you from creating your own version of the expand. Let's say you wanted more of a controlled expand, so let's call it control. I apologize about the spelling, I'm not too concerned about it here. So if I wanted to create my own manual expand, it's a matter of just simply grabbing components and dragging them into the position that I like to get the desired effect. Might take a little longer than the automated algorithm, but it gives you a lot more levels of control to be able to make those micro positionings. Okay, now before I start switching towards, first let me show you the hit point. Hit points are pretty interesting. So again, I select my model, I give it a hit point. So now this hit point, right here, will act as a passage to another lesson. So simply, if I create another lesson right here, or another presentation, sorry, called test. So now we'll leave this scene over here, so something distinct. And now within this hit point, if I select the hit point, notice that the properties are referencing it. So now if I scroll all the way down, you'll see that I'm given an action list. Well, an action list will give me the ability to pick a type of action. So here I could set a state, display a video, display an image, display questions, play audio. Simply what it means is when I click on that hit point in a live environment, what is it going to do? I can click on that hit point and it's going to display a video or an image or a question sheet or even play an audio. But the interesting thing is within that hit point I can also set a state, which is one of these slides current positions. So if I scroll down here, I'll see a state, drag state here. Simply grab my entire slide, drag it right over, and drop it here. So now, if done correctly, when I'm inside my presentation, if I click on this hit point, it will reference this slide and take me automatically there. So now you can see how you can have this engine in front of you or a piece of equipment in front of you with hit points all around it, highlighting certain pieces of interest. Once you click on that hit point, it will take you to a different slide focused around that specific component. So very quickly, you can start creating a presentation, a live presentation that highlights points of interest by interacting with. Okay, so before I jump into the portal, I'd like to take this moment again to encourage users from the app presented in our chat live to download the software, register, so we can send you an invite and log in. We'll wait another 10 to 15 minutes before we launch that other lesson. And in the meantime, we'll invite as many of the users and I'll show you how I can share the project with you. So we're back to our portal screen. Okay, this is my project right here. It should be called XR Trade Show. So feel free to go to the link provided in the chat room, download the Explorer, register, and I can share this project with you right here. So if there's anybody currently in the chat or joining us live that has interest in joining the final presentation, so we're not holding up everybody, please just quickly write to us, yes, you want to join, and we'll be able to. Okay, let me see here. Lawrence. Okay, so Miss Alicia Lawrence. So simply, I just added your name in. Before I send the invite, I'm going to change your ability to from edit to read only. So this way you don't get to change my lesson. And I'll send in send for you. Awesome. Confirm. Perfect. Any other users that are interested? Let me see here. I see David Thomas saying please. David, let me get you in here. David Thomas, yep, found you. Let me change to read only. Send. So once you have Explorer downloaded and logged in and populated, in the middle tab you should see a notification to invite, and that will get you in there. No, I trust everybody. Just I don't want anybody to get in there and change things around before I'm done the presentation. After that, feel free to go crazy. So I see Miss Monica. No, I don't see it. Yep, we're gonna try to get you in there, Monica. Bear with us. Aiden Collins. Yeah, okay. Change to read only. Yeah, he's already added. Yeah, let me check Monica again. No, not yet. No, you should be the old invite. This invites you. This gives you access to that project, not to that not the 3D environment. So this will give you the actual project file or access to the project file. So you don't have to. If you've already been added before, you don't have to be added again. Let's try Monica again. The Monica register. Do you see Monica on your end? Okay. I can't look at the code. It should be in the email that you provided. You should be getting an email to confirm. Can we confirm her on our end? Yeah, let's see, server admin. Okay, now that we shared the project with some of our viewers, let me just update this here, portal. So now I'm just simply going to go back onto Explorer. Okay, sorry about that, Monica. So I'm going to create a room under XR Trade Show. pick the first room, trade show room. So now I'll start adding my users. I have Aiden, Alicia, Dave Thomas. Am I missing anyone? I believe that's it. Yeah, send the invite now, Aiden. Just a moment. Just make sure I didn't miss anybody. Aiden. Okay. That's fine. Monica and David Thompson are on the same screen. Yep. So should I close this? Okay, we're just gonna see if we can override it on our end, Monica, and get you connected. Yep, Monica error. Yep. Awesome. Okay, let me just go back to the project and invite her or share the project. Go up to, yeah, to the top. Read only, perfect. Okay, awesome. I just sent you an invitation, Monica. You should have that soon, okay? In the meantime, I'll send an invitation to, I believe I already toggled everyone minus Monica, but I think we might have to leave this and come back again. Yeah. Let me see. Yeah, that's it. I'm Arab. Perfect. Wait, no, wait. There's like other 4 people. Sure. Okay, and I'll invite the remainder of the users in the lesson live. So right here, I'll just jump into my lobby. First, let me invite users. So invite Aiden. Invite Alicia. Let's see who else here. Invite Dave Thomas. And that should be it, I believe. Yeah, now let me just, in the lobby, I'm just gonna mute all of us so we don't have competing audios. I see Aiden is already in the lobby. We are waiting Miss Monica, Alicia, and Mr. Dave. And to navigate inside the 3D environment, just simply hold the right mouse button down, rotate that around, and then use WASD keyboard keys to move around. Now, if you are in a mobile device or a tablet, you should see 2 circles in the middle of the screen. They're made for your thumbs. The right one should rotate, and the left one should move around. So put your thumbs on both together and navigate at the same time. Takes a little work, but once you get used to the learning curve, you'll be able to fly through the environment relatively quickly. So I see already Aiden's over here. Hello, Aiden. How are you doing? Yes, you are. I see you, Mr. Aiden. Hello, sir. Let me see. Let me know anybody finding any difficulty getting in here. Everybody's coming in fine. Oh, I see someone here. What's it? Mr. Dave, how are you doing, sir? Very nice to meet you. Let me give you my business card. I know I look a lot better in my business card. That's not me, just as a joke. Oh, awesome. Perfect. Yeah. Sweet. Yeah, I see somebody else here. Yeah, no, you shouldn't be locked in paste. If you're using PC, Aiden, just simply right click your mouse button to move around and then WASD to navigate. If you're using a tablet or mobile device, there should be two circles in the middle. Grab them with your thumbs and navigate around. One will move your rotation on the right. Left side should give you movement left and right, up and down. There you go. I see some movement coming from Mr. Dave Thomas and Aiden. Awesome, great. So currently in the lobby we have Aiden and Dave Thomas. Monica and Alicia are either in limbo or still waiting. And now that there's a group of us, of course, I can use some of these features I didn't show you earlier. One of them being teleport group or group teleport. So now I can select the spot. Let's say I have a point of interest where I want to bring everyone to this booth right here where Aiden is currently. Simply grab my marker. So the yellow line is going to be where the viewers or my guests are going to be standing. But they're all going to be looking towards the flag. So in this case here, I'm going to rotate around so everybody's looking towards that booth. And I just brought Dave and Aiden with me here. Hello, guys. Now, of course, we can speak via audio inside the menu or inside this seminar room. But of course, because it's gonna be a lot of competing audios, I just kind of disabled that for now. It's under mute, but I have the ability to do so. And of course, within the same menu, I'm currently presenter, but I can hand over the presenter ability to my coworkers or my team members. Yeah, let me see here. Yeah, you'll need to Alicia. Yeah, there you go. Awesome. My team got you. Now from here, of course, I can jump into another lesson. So let's say we met. I met with Mr. Aiden, met with Mr. Dave. We hit it off. We changed formalities. Now we want to go for a more private conversation. So now I'll change the lesson, but I'm gonna delay a little bit until because I know there's a delay in the stream, and I want to make sure you guys get a heads up before I do this. You're gonna experience a loading screen. We're gonna force you through it to get you to the other lesson. So I'm going to take the presentation now from this trade show to a private meeting room. So we go from the trade show. We're currently here. I want to go to the auditorium or a private session. Like that. Now you all should be experiencing loading screen. If it works, great. I should see you on the other side in safe and sound. Hello, everybody. I see Mr. Dave here. Oh, I see Alicia also here joining us. There's Aiden, Dave. So now we're inside the auditorium. Feel free to check out the expanded view of the CFM engine. I mean, the models are interchangeable, so don't only think about it as this is aviation. Absolutely not. The models can be changed to anything at all, whether it's naval, land vehicles, aviation, medical. There is real no limitation. The only limit is your imagination and how far you want to go down the rabbit hole. But like I said, the models are interchangeable. They can be changed, including our avatars. Currently, we're just little drones flying around, but those avatars can also be changed into something more to your liking, whether it's business suit, whatever the case may be, team uniforms, whatever the case. Everybody is free to do so. I mean, this is meant to be a rapid deployment and development tool, so we don't want you trying to figure out all the nitty gritties. We want to automate and streamline as much of the development process as possible. So we want you doing what you do, which is educate and sell and market and meet and collaborate instead of figuring out how to put these presentations together. And if you guys have any questions about components, again, in your right menu, you'll see that you have these tools. Of course, you're not going to have all like mine. You're only going to have the laser pointer. So what you can do with that is simply select it and click on an object. If it highlights, then I will see it as a presenter from my view, and then now you get my attention towards that component. So feel free to highlight some things and see if I can find them. This thing here looks pretty cool. Not quite sure where it is. And there's this guy here. Oh, I see somebody highlighting something for me here. And of course, at any moment, I can grab an X-ray. I'll start X-raying external surface to show you internal pieces, to show you how things on the inside are operating and move. See here, Alicia, I'm going to kick you out of their presentation, and I'm going to send you another invitation, and let's see if that resets it. So feel free to shut down Explorer and reboot it. Invite Alicia. Sent. Yeah, let's try that process again and see how that works out for you. Now, of course, within this scene, I can jump into the final scene, and same idea. I'll be able to pull you guys with me into that 360 recording of a ship launch. So this is really good for trade missions, for trade shows, for meeting events where you're trying to bring people together to check out environments you might not always have, especially in today's environment and climate more than any other time. So now we get to experience this 360 boat launch together as a team. Oh, I see someone here. Aiden, hello, sir. So we tried to do our best to follow the pattern of a trade show. You would meet someone on the floor, you'd have a conversation, usually followed up by private discussions and a product demonstration where you would take them to the private room. Then even maybe a site walkthrough or just a office visit where you can record 360 renderings of your office, your facility, your grounds, whatever the case may be, and be able to, again, to show them for your clients, for your prospects, to keep the communication and your marketing efforts going. Hey, I see Alicia. There, well, you finally made it in. Hello. Just for you, Alicia, because you missed it, I can jump us back to the lesson of the auditorium so you can get a good look at that CFM engine. The scene is quite large. I mean, I can fly back where these are currently my colleagues that are inside the environment with me, but yet I'm still in the center point of this entire world. So of course, at any time, we can always jump back to the trade show and repeat that process again. So we went to the trade show, we met our prospect, our friend, our colleague, we reconnected, changed formalities, jumped to our auditorium for the product demonstration and showing the real equipment, explanation and further, and then take you to the site walkthrough. So for right now, we'll jump right back to the auditorium. And it all happens quite seamlessly. I mean, to get everybody connected, cross-platform from PC to VR applications, augmented reality, mobile devices, tablets, iOS, Android, takes a lot of work behind the scene. Please, if you guys have any questions or any feedback, we always constantly improve our product and our development. We improve it from the feedback of our users. At the end of the day, we want to provide our end user with the best user experience and functionality and capability. So we want to be able to enable them to create these presentations themselves without having to have advanced developers and specialized developers. Oh, pleasure. Thank you, Dave. Thank you for making the time to come seeing us and spending time with us. Thank you and have a great evening. Okay, guys, and with this, thank you for your time. I really appreciate this. Again, if you guys have any questions or any feedback, please feel free to reach out to us on all our social medias, whether it's Facebook, Twitter, or LinkedIn. Leave us a like, share it, and spread the good word. Thank you, guys, and be safe.